we live in the communities where we work. I think that's huge. It's a huge part of Peace Corps. It's also exhausting, but when they tell us Peace Corps is a 24/7 job, it truly is. You come home from work, you're not done. You have kids that come to the house that want to play, your sister's coming in, so it becomes very exhausting. But I think living where you work gives you a very unique opportunity to see life through people's eyes as closely as one can without actually being that person. Okay.
Nizobe nenzani lapha?
Ay, bayafunda ama-computers.
Wena?
Mina? Ah, yes kakhulu.
Wena kanti usuhlala lapha Zanele?
Mina? Manje? How? Oh, yes.
Uhamba nini kanti phesheya?
April.
Next month.
Ngiyabuya eMelika. Ngiyanqadile. So this is Simunia Youth Development Project. Our mission is to develop and empower out-of-school unemployed youth through life and technical skills training, volunteer opportunities, and job seeker services. So job seeker services are photocopying, printing, CV assistance, just basic services that, unemployed job seekers really need, and there's nothing like that in the community. Okay, so where might you go to find out the names of the companies and their phone numbers and emails addresses? How would you? Yeah, I think being a youth myself was a big part of it. And then just seeing the struggles that the youth here face because of the education system that really is failing them. And then to see how success can happen when they are given the opportunity, when they're given airtime and transport money. How very small things can make literally a world of difference in these youth lives. So those are the kind of things we also try to have at Simunia so that these youth have a fair chance. They're in the rural area. It's not their fault that they hear about everything after the closing date. So all of that has been a big inspiration for the project. Dude, you gotta ask him to turn it down lower. I just asked him to turn down the music, and he still just turned it back up. Please ask them. Tell them they're writing. Like, they're just sitting there. Just tell them we're writing if you'll please turn it down. It's ridiculous. So the future of it, I see it being, fully run and sustainable by South African youth. And I've dedicated the last 8 months to training the youth to run the organization and creating the structure and the policy and the framework so that the organization is organized and is in place. So this just gives you an idea, okay? I'm also realizing the youth I've trained could leave. And I've also had to come to terms with the fact that it could just fall apart. And in a way being okay with that. Because then it really wasn't sustainable and we reached who we could and that's it. I mean, that would be really sad. But I'm still going to be walking away from something that I really gave my heart to. I think it's a really complicated and complex history. You have to understand the history to understand how and why things are the way they are. For 50 years, you had a government that had an education system that was oppressing people. In this area in particular, the Zulus were evicted from their land. So they had their land, their homes, and their livestock taken away from them. This place itself, Weenen, means the place of weeping. So you look at all those things and you begin to understand where the people are coming from, which I think you need to have understanding coming into these communities and working here. You have to. So in the afternoons, this place is usually filled with people, and on the weekend there's like soccer tournaments all the time. You know, I can't really talk about what other development agencies maybe do or don't do. I think that by staying here, you know, I never would have realized the challenges that these youth face finding jobs if I didn't see it firsthand from being here. And even from my experience with some people from the U.S. Embassy or the consulate that gave us money that came on the ground, I could tell right away there were simple things that said, they don't really know what life is like here. By hand washing your clothes, collecting your water, you're building trust where people see, okay, you're white, you're an American, you're not Zulu, you're not from here, but you're living like us. And it really begins to build trust, and you see the challenges. I don't have my own car that I can just jump in. I have to wait just like them, just like the people I'm working with. So you also begin to see the challenges that they face. And I think something else that makes Peace Corps unique is that we do have 3 goals, which I mentioned before. And the second and third goal of that cross-cultural exchange, recognizing that that is an important part of this experience, I think is really important. And I think it's something that should be carried through with development work in general. I think that I've realized how life really doesn't care about your plans. You try and plan things and it just falls apart. But then it somehow sorts itself out. It might be a way that you totally didn't expect or even really wanted at the time, but it's okay. And Africa has really taught me that you think things are ending and you find out they're just beginning.